hours. God, yo, it's lit, man. I ain't gonna front. I miss y'all, man. My son Jonah, he over here sound like the homeboy Davies, man. Word. Oh. Hey yo, so I was thinking, man. Lately, I've been thinking of character, right? Character, man. Is this press for character, man. Character is not the product of your circumstances, it's the thing that survives it. Man, sometimes I think, side note, sometimes I think and I ponder to myself, like, what if? What about all those people that committed suicide? Like, let's be real. Let's be real for a second. Like, let's take it there. Let's take it there for a second. What about? Sometimes I ponder about all the people that didn't see it through, that didn't finish the battle, that didn't endure. Like, what about all the people that committed suicide, that didn't see the other side of this thing? Sometimes I ponder to myself and I wonder and I think, oh, if they just would have stuck it out long enough. Like, character is not the thing, it's not a product of your circumstances, but it's the thing that survives it. It's the thing that goes through the fire. It's the thing that gets crushed. It's the thing that gets refined. It's the thing that gets purified. Character. It's that one thing, and sometimes I can't help but sometimes ponder to myself, what about all those people that committed suicides? May they rest in peace. What if they got to see the other side of this thing? What if they didn't wave the towel? What if they didn't throw in the towel? Like, what if they didn't ring that bell? Like, what about all those people that committed suicide? And I think if they just would have outlasted this situation, like if they would have went through the suffering, the pain, the anguish, if they would have went through it, character. I'm talking character is not a product of circumstances. It's that thing that survives it, that supersedes, that outlasts. Like after the storm, sooner or later, a rose grows from a concrete. Not because somebody planted it there. Nobody plants a rose in a concrete. But because of the storms that God allowed, because can't nobody control the storm besides God himself. So because of the storms that God allowed to rain on the concrete, to rain on the foundation, character, foundation. Because it's not the thing, it's not a product of your circumstances, it's not a product, it's the thing that survives it, which allows the rose to grow from the concrete, which allows it to blossom. I can't help but to say this. I wish humans was like those trees. I wish humans was like those roses that grows from concrete, because trees grows to their fullest potentials. Humans don't. Like, let's keep it G. Let me keep it real. Trees, they grow to their fullest potential. Branch over branch, they branching. Humans don't. And I wish we understood that. I wish we stood in alignment with that. I wish we seen that from. I wish we seen it from that perspective. Because of the storms that God allowed, it's the only reason a rose could grow from the concrete. Ain't no man planted there. Go through it. Experience it. Let it touch you. Let it prune you. Let it do its perfect work. So you become mature, well developed, and not deficient in any way. Your character is only being tested to be testified. To be labeled just as a thing that survived it. You. Not no other man, not no other person. You. Man, let's get into this thing, man. Let's go. When we talk about character, Duke, it's like, man, everybody always talks about how we go through these adversities, right? Adversity, it doesn't build character, it reveals it. Adversity, it doesn't, I can't even break it down in layman terms. It is what it says. I said what I said. Adversity, it doesn't build character, it reveals it. We could argue about it. Go in the comments, like, let's talk about it. Let's talk. Adversity, it doesn't build character. It reveals. Or let me say it like this instead, because it does over time, of course. Unless if you're a fool, right? A fool, a wise fool. A wise man is a fool in his own ways. So before adversity can ever build character, it must and it will reveal character. That's the first step. Like, let's keep the main thing the main thing. Let's take this one step at a time. If we're going to talk about it, let's talk about it in bits and pieces, character. If we're going to talk about character, let's not skip a step. Let's talk about the nuance of it. Let's talk about the nuance of this thing. Before it could build it, it must reveal it. And I learned that the hard way. I had to learn it the hard way. It is what it is. It is what it is. One thing about me, man, I love learning. Like, dog, I done fell in love with this thing. I fell in love with it, man. I wish everybody could go through this, like, really go through this process, this journey of just self-development, personal development. Like, before we try to do anything else, before we try to achieve this, that, and the third, because at the end of the day, like, when it all boils down to it, like, life is gonna smack you in your face. Life is gonna smack you dead in your face. Life is gonna smack you dead in your face, and you're gonna have to deal with what I was telling one of my players this the other day. You're gonna have to deal with whatever that thing is that's getting thrown at you. Whatever that thing is. And if you ain't got it in here, like, if you ain't got it in here at the foundation, if it ain't in you, you ain't gonna outlast that thing. So when we're talking about character not being a product of your circumstance, it's the thing that survives it. This is what we're talking about. Your ability to withstand the storm, your ability to anchor yourself in that storm, your ability, your capacity to endure, to persevere. When we speak about character not being a product of your circumstance, because no matter, I got a homeboy in jail right now. I promise you, his character supersedes a lot of the people that I know that's home right now. The question on the table is, will you try to write somebody off because of where they are, their circumstance, their situation, or honestly try to determine who they are? Like, as a person, at the essence, like, after they've been through everything they've been through, after they endured everything they endured, after the fact, after the storms, like, will you write a person off? Like, I was speaking about it a while ago. Like, bro, we drive past these homeless people all the time. We drive past homeless people all the time. We look them dead in their eye, and we keep it pushing. We keep on driving. Homie might be one of the most genuine people you ever know, one of the most wisest people you ever know, and still we have the audacity to look them in the eye. We driving in the Benz, we driving in the Bentley, Beamer Benz, we driving in it. We got cash right here, glove department. But here we are, writing them off because of where they are. Instead of truly trying to determine who they are, we so focused about what they're gonna do with the money. What they're gonna do? They about to use my money that I give them to go buy some drugs, to go buy some alcohol, go get them a drink. They about to use my money because of what they look like or because of where they are. Like, will you write some? Which is why I post the question. Will you write somebody off because of where they are? Or honestly, truly, to try to determine who they are. Like, who is this person? You never judge a book by its cover. You don't know what that person been through. You don't know what they're going through in this very current moment. You don't know. You don't know the storms they had to face. You don't know the battles they had to fight. You don't know what their life looked like. You don't know what it is sleeping under the bridge 7 days a night, 7 days a week. You don't know what it's like. But yet you worrying if that person's gonna go buy some drugs with that money that they asking you for. They holding up a sign. You don't even read the sign. You don't even take the time to read the sign. You try to look straight forward. The sign is, I need help. I'm on the highway. I'm getting off the highway the other week. And I see a sign. I'm looking. Because me, I take time. I pay attention. I look at the sign. It says, I need help. Can somebody speak to me? I don't want money. I want conversation. Got off the highway. Skirt. U-turn. Went back around. Pulled to the side. I pulled up on a sidewalk. Like, that's how determined I was. I pulled up on the sidewalk. Officer, give me a ticket if you need to. I'll pull up on the humanity. Humanity. Humility. Give me a ticket if you need to, officer. But there's a human here having a human experience. And I'm not about to write him off because of where he is. But honestly, I'm going to get out this car and I'm going to honestly trying to determine who he is. Like, who is this person? His character. Character is not a product of your circumstance. It's the thing that survives it. I spoke to this man. I spoke to this young man. And he poured out his heart to me. Tears, cried. I gave him a hug. I gave him the only thing I had in the car. It wasn't money. It wasn't money. I'm going to give you something that's more greater than money right now. I'm going to give you what I have. I got food that will feed you. That will feed. I got water. That was my only meal for the day. That was my meal for the day. Like, could I be honest? I didn't have it. In that moment, I didn't have it. I packed my lunch. I packed my stuff for my day. Like, that was gonna be my only. That was my only thing. I wasn't planning on spending. I wasn't planning on going to the savings and taking. I wasn't. Nah. That was my meal for the day. I didn't have money, but what I do have, I give you. Like, I heard the young man's heart. He ain't want money. He wanted conversation. He wanted a person to see him for who he was. He just wanted a hug. He said he lost his wife a year ago. Right after he lost his wife, he lost his business. His child, nowhere to be found. He don't want nothing. He don't want no. He said, I just wanted a hug. I just wanted to feel like I'm needed, like somebody needs me. Like somebody hears me. Somebody sees me. He said, I stand right here and I hold up this sign every day. I have people stop and they give me pennies. They give me money. But they don't take the time to read my sign. He said, they don't take the time to read my sign. I want conversation. I want to feel like I'm human. I want to feel like I'm alive. Next time you see somebody on the side of the road, just take the time to look over. Just take the time to look at them. Just take the time to look that man, to look that girl, to look that woman. Just take the time to look them in their eye. They're human just like you are. I can guarantee you 100%, not 99.999. I can guarantee you 100% of the time they put their pants on the same way you put your pants on. They throw their shirt over their head the same way you throw your shirt over. I guarantee you 100% of the time they do it all the same. And that person just want to feel like they are being seen, they are being heard, that somebody loves them, that somebody out there in this world needs them. Don't never judge a book by its cover. That man in that mansion is dying. He's putting on a persona. There's a person under the bridge that may be in much more peace to him. peace. He made that his home. You don't judge a book by its cover. Character, man. Take the time to build that thing. Integrity. Like, do the things when nobody's looking, like when nobody's paying attention, when nobody's around. When I got out there, when I made that U-turn and I got out my car to talk to a homie on the side, I didn't pull out my phone and go live or set up my phone on the side or nothing to record me doing what I was doing. Integrity. Doing when nobody's watching. Do it even if the world would never know about it. Just do it. Work on building your character. Integrity, that's a part of your character. That's a part of character building. Doing the right thing, even when nobody else is watching. Doing the right thing. Even if nobody else will ever see it. Doing the right thing. Even if nobody else will never know. Doing the right thing. Even if you got to take it to your grave. God knows. God sees it. And blessed are those who hunger. And here we go. One of my favorite ones. Y'all know it. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, and they shall be filled. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Just do the right thing. That's a promise for God. That's a promise from God. If nobody sees it, he sees it. If you don't believe me, believe him. Because these ain't my words, these is his. Matthew 5:3. Blessed are those who hunger. What does blessed means? Look it up yourself. Blessed, to invoke or confer. Invoke or confer. Divine. What does divine mean? Excellent, delightful, of or from God. Of or from favor. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, and they shall be filled. Do the right thing, even when nobody else is watching. Do the right thing, even when nobody else. Do the right thing, even when nobody else is watching. And I promise you, you will be filled. These ain't my words. These is his. Don't say Jah said it. No, look it up in Matthew 5:3. Work on your integrity. It's okay. It's okay to put your phone. You ain't got to record it. The word ain't got it. Work on your integrity. I don't care what you do. I work on your integrity. I don't need to see. Don't prove you ain't got nothing to prove to me. Prove it to yourself. Don't try to prove me wrong. Prove you right. Integrity, character. It's never about proving another man wrong. It's about proving yourself right. Being true to you. Being true to who you said. It's a commitment to self. It's a commitment to self, commitment. And this is my definition of it. Every day after you said what you said, your loyalty to your word through actions, despite the contradiction of your circumstance, situation, or feelings. Commitment, integrity, character. It's all in alignment. Work on it. Because again, it's not the product of your circumstance. I don't care if you're in jail. I don't care if you're doing time. I don't care if you're locked up. I don't care if you're homeless. Your character at the foundation of things is the thing that survives it. It's the thing that supersedes it. It's the thing that outlasts it. The enemy plays so much trick, man. The enemy plays so many tricks, man. You gotta be willing. We have to be willing. We have to be in control of our thoughts, of our circumstances, of our situation, whatever we're going through. Control, pray to God, the prayer of serenity. Like have the courage to change the things that you could have. Grant me the wisdom to know the difference. Grant me the wisdom to know the difference of the things I can control and of the things I can't. Give me the courage to change the things that I could and let go of the things that I can't. We could control our thoughts. We could control our minds. Don't let the enemy come and play tricks on your mind. Don't let and I pray to God, I pray against the attack that comes. No, even though the weapon may form, it will not prosper. It will not penetrate. It will not take you out. No weapon. formed against me shall prosper. It won't work. In Jesus' name. We have to constantly pray, like, and especially for a lot of us, especially for a lot, we have to, if we have to say that prayer every minute, say that prayer, because that enemy, he would come in and he would infiltrate this thing. He would run circles around your head. He would play mind games, mind tricks, and he would do everything to make you pull that trigger. He would do everything. He says, nah. He said, no, let the wheat and the weed grow together. Let the wheat and the weed grow together. He said, let the wheat and the weeds grow together. And in the end, when it's time for harvest, he will decide. He will pick apart. He will. The enemy's trying to get you to move. The enemy's trying to get you to take things into your own hands. He's trying to get you to pull out the weeds. Nah, because if you pull out he's trying to get you to pull out the weeds. Nah, because if you pull out the weeds, you also going to pull out the weeds. They both going to be uprooted together. Colossal. Boom. Now it's over. Now we got to explode. Now you done took yourself out the equation. He said, no. Let the weeds grow with the weed. And in the end, when it's time for harvest, he will do the separating. Don't get tricked by the enemy. Don't get tricked into taking things into your own hands. Don't get tricked off these streets. Youngin', don't get tricked out of life. Those suicides, don't get tricked into those thoughts. Don't get tricked into it. It's an attack from the enemy. From the pits of hell itself. Don't get tricked into it. Play your position. Get in your word like play your position, man. Reaffirm yourself. Repeat to yourself. Remind yourself. Remember the good thoughts, the thing pure, righteous, true, lovely, beautiful, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is righteous. Think of those things. Think of these things. Don't be anxious about anything, but in everything, pray, petition. And when things get, think about those things. Those will be the little things. That'll be on the other side of that mountain. Remember, every mountain starts below ground. Every mountain starts beneath the surface. So all those people that you see at the top of the mountain, all those people that made it to the top, remember, they started where you were. And along the way, the character, the integrity. Along the way, the strength, the endurance, the perseverance, the altitude that they had to work their way up. They had to work their way up to be that eagle. Now they breathing at a different altitude. Now they started the same place you at. Encourage yourself. Remember that those people that you so much admire, that you so much look up to, remember they started the same place beneath the surface. And they just happened to work their way up. And along the journey, there's beauty in it. Don't forsake the beauty, because the burdens may be too heavy. Cast all your burdens upon me, and I will give you rest. Cast all your burdens upon me, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke, for my yoke is easy. My burdens is light. If you just do the simple things, man. And I know, like, if these things are real applicable things, man. Like people, and this is just me, man. Nothing against churches, nothing against preachers, nothing against nobody religious, nothing against none of that. But people, they take these words and these scriptures and these verses from this book of life. People ask me all the time, what do you recommend me to read? What book do you? I always recommend the Bible. Not because it's just some, godly book. It's just like the 48 laws. It's just like Atomic Habits. It's just like the autobiography of Malcolm X. It's just like Think and Grow Rich. It's just like Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's just like Atomic Habits. It's just like all these other great books. It's just like the 4 Laws. It's just like all these other great books. It's applicable. It's real life strategies. It's answers in that book. So when I quote it, when I say it, I could very well quote another book. Don't Cry for Me by Daniel Black. Don't Cry for Me. That's a great book. I will quote that book every chance I get. It's just like quoting every other book. It's giving you strategy. I use it. I don't give it. I don't say these to give a good word, to sound deep. I don't say it for that. Nah, I use it because if you apply it, it works. If you apply it, you'll see results. Think and Grow Rich. Oh, it says do this. I did that. Oh, I got another source of income. Oh, the Bible says, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for right. Rejoice in the suffering, because suffering produces perseverance, which then produces character, which then produces hope for a future. For I know the plans I have for you. For I know the thoughts I think towards you. Plans are good and not evil. Plans to prosper and not harm. Oh, applicable. It works. It works, man. It works. So when we're talking about character, man, you're going to have to go through some suffering. You're going to have to go through some dark days. You're going to have to go through some hard times. You're going to have to. And you're going to have to dig deep. I've been there. I suffered a great deal of anguish. A great lengthy season I suffered. But I understood the principle that suffering produces perseverance, which then produces character, which then produces hope. And I could stand before you as a testimony that everything you're going through, that the suffering, it does produces perseverance. And the perseverance, it does produce character. And the character, it does give hope. I think back on my life, man. All the times on the block, just growing up, reminiscing, man. I'm just thinking about it now. Like I probably got some real deep rooted trauma that I ain't been tapped. Like I ain't even tapped the surface of that thing. Like it's solid. Maybe not, man. But I'm thinking back on everything. And to see where I am today. To see the person I am, the character that has been built because of my willingness to go through it, without complaint. Without complaint. My willingness to submit without condition. Without condition. To the authority I felt God has sent me, whether it be man or woman. Astronomical. Astronomical. Like the character growth, the growth spurt. Like, dog, I would have never imagined me being the man I am today. Not even 5 years ago. You asked me 5 years ago, Jah, where do you think? Who do you think? Forget where do you think you'll be, man. I hate that question. Tell me who do you think you will be in 5 years from now? Tell me who do you think you will? Tell me who will you be in 5 years from now? Don't tell me where you'll be. I don't care where you'll be. I don't care if you're in the White House. Tell me who will you be in 5 years from now? The character, the caliber of you. Who will you be in 5 years from now? And after you tell me who that person is, tell me what it took for you to get there. The stretching. Like, how far did it stretch you? How thin did it stretch you to get to that person? What risk did you take? What sacrifices did you make? What was the fire like? The crushing. The refining. Tell me what that was like. Tell me what that was like. Like, forget about the destination. Forget about where you'll be. I don't care where you'll be. I don't care about none of that. Tell me what that fire felt like. When you got persecuted by 5 million, 10 million, 20 million people. Tell me what that felt like. Tell me why you didn't give up. Tell me what was your why. Why did you do what you decided? Why did you decide to stay in it for that? Why? Why did you continue to pursue this person that you sought out to be? Why? God, tell me about it. I don't care about you being the greatest speaker in the world. I don't care about you being the richest man in the world. Tell me what it took for you to get there, baby. Tell that character. Different. It hit different when you've been through some things. It hit different when you got some stories. It hit different when you got some scars to match. It hit different. Because of the anguish I suffered, I will walk humbly all the days of my life. That's in the good book. And scripture is cute until you gotta live that thing. Scripture is cute for a sermon until you gotta walk that thing out. Don't ask me to give you no sermon with the word. Now I'm gonna give you some real life principles with that word. I promise you. I can tell you what that word do. 48 laws. Think it grow the richest man in Babylon. Like, we talking about books. Read Proverbs, man. Oh, there's some wisdom in there for sure. Talk about wealth, health. Oh, it's in there. Talk about persevering, character. Oh, it's in there. Like, I want to know what it takes. I want to know what it takes. I want to know what it took for you to get there. Because long behold, there's going to come another storm that's going to move you to the next one. The next level, the next destination. And when you get to that destination, I'm not going to care nothing about that destination. But I'm going to want to know everything it took for you to get there. Work on your character, your integrity, your mindset. Don't let that joker, don't let the enemy trick you out your position. I used to be on the block. Don't let them people trick you off the streets. I've seen that happen way too many times. Way too many. Remember, there's weed and there's wheat. There's good and there's evil. And they're all growing together. Don't get tricked into try to pull the evil out. You pull that thing out, the good's gonna come out too. The next thing you know, you all over the place. Don't let the enemy trick you out. He gonna do the separating. You continue to do the work. You continue growing. You continue reading. You continue doing whatever you do. You continue on a journey, a life. Because as long as you on this planet Earth, as long as you here, you got some work to do. There's no avoiding it. Don't play it safe, man. Play it big. I promise you. If you just go through it. I'm just rambling at it, but I just want to tell, if you go through it, there's beauty in it. There's beauty in it. It's my time, man. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. I thank you and I encourage you to keep on going. My mother tell me, life is life. My pops tell me all the time, life is life. They're much older than me. They have much more wisdom than me. Mom, Dukes, and Pop. Life is life. Just keep on living. It's my time, man. Vanquish.